Anders from Transforming ADHD here. Thanks for watching the Transforming ADHD YouTube channel. If you're watching it on the homepage, welcome to transformingadhd.com. In this video, I'd like to introduce you to a new way of thinking about ADD and having a clouded mind. So some of my clients with the ADD diagnosis without the hyperactivity are the type of child or teenager that kind of hides in the back of the room, is not very academically progressive, if you will, and they're kind of socially isolated because they're kind of walking around in their own world or just not paying attention to much of what's going on around them. Now, the girl I'd like to talk about today was a 12-year-old girl, and she had the ADD diagnosis. She had a lot of problems socially. She had a lot of problems in school, mostly in school because, as she said, when she was in her seat in class, she kind of wasn't there. She kind of couldn't really hear the teacher, but she couldn't hear the teacher when she was in the front row. So back of the class certainly didn't help her anything. But her hearing nothing was wrong with her hearing. Nothing was wrong with her physiologically. So I wanted to talk to her about what was her experience. And now we're moving into the whole externalization theme of using a metaphor to describe the cognitive process of what's going on inside of her. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that this is a big theme for me, and this is how you can transform ADHD from the inside out. Now, this girl described that when she was in the classroom, it was like she was inside a cloud. Now, this cloud, when I asked her to describe the cloud, was very dark, very humid, and all around her head, like in a 2 meters, 6 feet radius around her head and inside of her head. So a clouded mind is really what that is. The metaphor for that is really powerful because if you imagine that is a real experience, which of course it is for her, if you imagine that that's a real experience, sitting in the back of the room with a cloud around your head and inside your mind, you can't really think much. You can't really do anything. You can't really hear much. You can't see much. Nothing is going on, and you might as well just let your mind wander. If that's the experience you have, you will be socially isolated. You will be academically in a bad place, right? So, in order to help this girl, we need to work with the metaphor, because the cloud obviously wasn't real. It's not a physical cloud in the real universe. It's a cloud inside that mental parallel universe where all our cognitive functions lie. So, in order to kind of help her transform this cloud into something else, we needed to put a lot of words on that cloud or around it to describe it in detail. What happens when you describe things in detail is that they are kind of dragged out of the subconscious mind and into the conscious mind, where you can transform them really easily. So, what I did with the girl was have her describe the cloud in detail, like I already explained to you. If you want to do this process with yourself, close your eyes, leave your eyes open however you want it. Then imagine, how big is that cloud of yours? If you're talking to a child, just ask if the child mentions a cloud, or if you ask, do you have a clouded mind? If they say yes, go with that metaphor. If they say no, it's not the right metaphor, leave it. If you have it, that metaphor to use of your mind, now describe in your mind or aloud, if you're alone or with somebody who's listening to this video with you, describe what the cloud is like. Where is it? How thick is it? How high is it? What is its reach? Does it go inside your mind? What does it do in there? And so on. You can even describe the temperature, the feel, the texture, everything around about it. Now, when you've done that, imagine how you would like that cloud to be instead. When I asked the girl about this, she said, well, right now, I have the cloud kind of closed in and inside of me. But really, it's not very uncomfortable, the cloud. So if I could just kind of create a space inside of that cloud, then that would be a really good focus zone to kind of leave out all the defocusing things that were going on in her classroom. So what she did was kind of imagine that the cloud turned lighter white, so really white and fluffy, like a really nice summer cloud, and then have it go on the outside of the teacher, obviously, and the blackboard or the board in the front of her, so that she could see what was going on in front of her, and then kind of going around her back so that her head was clear and she had free access to whatever the teacher was doing. That way she minimized all the defocusing noises around her, and she still had she turned what was a really problematic cognitive function or pattern into a really, really effective cognitive pattern in a matter of minutes. So now ask yourself, if you have a cloud like that, what would you like to do with it? Her solution may not be the right one for you. Which one would be the right one for you? And if you do create that space or some kind of space around you, or if you let the cloud to solve, or if you let the cloud become something else entirely, it's up to you. Figure out what you need, and then imagine that you can actually do that and allow it to happen. Because when you do that, you'll realize that the pattern that was obstructing you really can be turned into something really powerful for you. And that's what I mean when I talk about transforming ADHD from the inside out. Of course, this isn't just about ADHD. It's everybody who can benefit from this. But it turns out that most people with the ADHD diagnosis can really benefit from this approach because it has such power. And it's fast. And you don't have to fight to kind of keep it as it is. This girl didn't have to remember, like, every time I have the dark cloud, what is it that I'm meant to do then? Because from now on, she has the white cloud. Why would she cognitively change that back? No reason. So she changed it once and for all, and that changes her thinking, her thought patterns, her cognitive processes from this day on in those situations. And she has a lot easier time focusing, concentrating, listening, paying attention, and noticing what's going on around her, which also has or had great impact on her social abilities. Now, she'd still have to learn to socialize in a new way because she approached people in a different way, and they were able to get feedback from her when they approached her. So, not cured by any means, but certainly a significant step of the way towards having a fully functional ADHD mind with all the powers that come with it. So, transforming the cognitive processes from the inside out is such an awesome process, and I hope you had fun with this. I hope you had a revelation or a kind of an insight into your own mind or into your child's mind. If you have a child, if you have any kind of child really, but a teenager with the ADD or ADHD diagnosis, show them this video. Let them know that there is hope for them that there are endless possibilities of transformation inside their minds. Then, or even before that, head over to transformingadhd.com, sign up for the newsletter, sign up for all the great free resources there, and I'll talk to you there. Also, before you go, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. One last thing. If you had the cloudy mind, if you did this exercise, or if you're just inspired by it, please leave a comment below and I'll know you did it. That's awesome.